Episode 3. The Informant's Price. Greyhollow's rebel hideout buzzed with tension when Ash and Echo returned from Millstone Crossing. Maps covered the tables, lanterns burned low, and the air smelled of ink, sweat, and damp stone. Riven, Echo's second-in-command, stood waiting. A broad-shouldered woman in her 50s with a scarred jaw and a permanent scowl. She looked Ash up and down like assessing a weapon she wasn't sure she trusted. "You didn't die," Riven said to Echo. "Good. I'd hate to break in another commander." Echo rolled her eyes. "Nice to see you too." Riven turned to Ash. "You, with me." Ash stiffened, glancing at Echo. Echo gave a small nod, permission, reassurance, something in between. Riven led Ash to a table where a single document lay under a weighted stone. The parchment was covered in coded symbols and empire sigils. "This was stolen from an Imperial courier 2 nights ago," Riven said. "We think it's connected to the Wraith attacks." Ash leaned closer. "What's the title?" Riven tapped the top of the page. "Project Resurrection." Ash's stomach dropped. "What does that mean?" "That's what we need you to help figure out," Riven said. "But the cipher is incomplete. We need someone who deals in magical secrets." Echo stepped into the room, arms crossed. "Sable." Riven nodded. "Exactly. And she won't talk to me, but she'll talk to you two." Ash blinked. "Why us?" Echo's mouth twitched. "Because Sable likes pretty things." Riven snorted. "And she likes trouble. You two are both." The night market of Greyhollow was a labyrinth of lantern-lit stalls, smoke-filled alleys, and whispered deals. To blend in, they needed a cover story. Riven tossed Echo a merchant's cloak and handed Ash a soft leather vest embroidered with subtle patterns. "You're a traveling merchant," said Riven to Echo, "selling enchanted trinkets." "And me?" Ash asked. Echo hesitated. "My bodyguard." Riven smirked. "And partner. Sable won't trust you unless she thinks you're a couple. She's paranoid about spies." Ash's ears burned. "A couple?" Echo cleared her throat. "It's just a role." Riven shrugged. "Then act like it." Ash and Echo exchanged a look. Awkward, charged, impossible to read. The market was alive with color and noise. Lanterns swung overhead, casting warm gold light over stalls, selling everything from enchanted spices to illegal spell components. Music drifted from a distant tavern, mingling with the scent of roasted meat and incense. Echo walked beside Ash, posture stiff at first. Ash tried to look natural, but every brush of Echo's arm sent sparks through her. "Relax," murmured Echo. "Couples don't walk like they're about to be ambushed." Ash swallowed. "I've never done this." Echo hesitated, then reached out and took Ash's hand. Ash froze. Echo's thumb brushed over her knuckles, a small, grounding gesture. "Just follow my lead." Ash nodded, heart pounding. They moved through the crowd, Echo's arm eventually sliding around Ash's waist when they reached the more dangerous part of the market. Ash leaned into her, partly for the role, partly because Echo's warmth steadied her. Echo's breath brushed Ash's ear as she whispered, "Sable's shop is ahead." Ash shivered. Echo definitely noticed. Sable's shop was tucked between a potion stall and a fortune-teller's tent. The sign above the door read, "Sable's Curiosities, no questions asked." Inside, the air was thick with incense and dust. Shelves overflowed with forbidden trinkets, shadow-infused crystals, blood-ink quills, and illegal spellbooks. Sable herself lounged behind the counter, a tall, elegant woman with silver rings on every finger and eyes like polished obsidian. She smiled when she saw them. "Well, well," she purred. "Echo of Greyhollow. And you've brought me a gift." Ash stiffened. Echo's arm tightened around her waist. "She's not a gift," Echo said flatly. "She's my partner." Sable's smile widened. "Is she now? How delightful." Ash tried not to combust. Echo placed the coded documents on the counter. "We need the cipher." Sable tapped her nails thoughtfully. "I could give it to you, but information has a price." Echo's jaw clenched. Name it. Sable leaned forward. The Inquisition is planning a raid on my shop tonight. I need certain incriminating documents destroyed, quietly, precisely, without burning down my livelihood. Her gaze slid to Ash. Your Ash Mage can do that. Ash's breath caught. How do you... I make it my business to know things, Sable said. You have 2 hours before the Inquisitors arrive. Echo's hand tightened on Ash's hip. You're asking her to risk her life. I'm offering you the cipher, Sable replied. Take it or leave it. Echo looked at Ash. Ash nodded. I can do it. Echo's expression softened. Pride, worry, something deeper. Then we do it together, Echo said. Sable led them to a hidden back room, filled with shelves of scrolls, ledgers, and enchanted documents. Some glowed faintly, others pulsed with dangerous magic. These are the ones I need gone, Sable pointed, to a stack of papers marked with red wax. Only these, nothing else. Ash stepped forward, inhaling slowly. The room was full of ash, old candle soot, burnt incense, and damp stone. Enough to work with. Echo stood guard at the door, sword ready. Ash lifted her hands. The ash in the room stirred, rising like a soft gray tide. She guided it with delicate precision, letting it brush only the targeted documents. One by one, the papers dissolved into fine ash, silent, clean, leaving no trace. Echo watched, awe softening her features. Ash, that's incredible. Ash flushed. It's just control. It's more than that, Echo murmured. Halfway through, Ash swayed, the strain building. Echo was instantly at her side, steadying her with a hand on her back. You're pushing too hard. I'm fine, Ash whispered. Echo's voice dropped. You don't have to prove anything to me. Ash met her eyes, and for a moment the world narrowed to just them. Then footsteps echoed outside. Inquisitors, Echo hissed. Almost done, Ash whispered. She pushed the last of her magic, turning the last ledger into ash, just as the front door of the shop slammed open. Go, Sable urged. Echo grabbed Ash's hand and pulled her through a hidden exit, behind a tapestry. They sprinted down a narrow alley, Ash stumbling from exhaustion. Echo caught her, arm around her waist again, this time not for show. You did it, Ash whispered. Ash leaned into her. We did. They ducked into a shadowed alcove as Inquisitors marched past. Echo pressed Ash gently against the wall, shielding her with her body. Ash's breath hitched. Echo's face was inches from hers, eyes dark, intense. We need to look like we're engaged, Echo whispered. Ash nodded, heart racing. Echo leaned in, close enough that Ash felt her breath, close enough that their lips almost touched. Ash's eyes fluttered shut. Echo froze. Then she pulled back abruptly, cheeks flushed. Sorry, that was... I didn't mean... Ash swallowed. It's okay. Echo looked away, flustered in a way Ash had never seen. Let's just get back. But her hand stayed on Ash's waist the entire walk. Back at the hideout, Sable's payment lay on the table, a small metal disc etched with runes. The cipher, Riven said, examining it. This will decode the document. Echo handed Ash the parchment. You found this. You should see it first. Ash placed the cipher over the coded symbols. The runes shifted, revealing new text beneath. 2 words stood out. Reclaiming lost assets. Ash's blood ran cold. They're harvesting magic from execution sites, from forbidden mages. Echo's jaw tightened. Project Resurrection. They're bringing something back. Ash looked up at her. Echo, this is bigger than wraith attacks. Echo nodded slowly. And we're going to stop it. She hesitated, then placed a hand on Ash's shoulder, gentle, deliberate. You're not just a tool, she said softly. You're part of this team now. Ash's chest tightened. Thank you. Echo's thumb brushed her shoulder before she pulled away, but the warmth lingered. Ash stood in the dim light of the hideout, the decoded document in her hands. Echo lingered nearby, watching her with a softness she didn't bother to hide anymore. Outside, the city hummed with danger. Inside, something new was forming. Trust, partnership, the first threads of something deeper. Ash wasn't alone. Not anymore.